The last couple of days we heard several rumors concerning Valve that might actually be interested in joining the console market, sort of. A few days ago somebody asked if we should expect any kind of news concerning Steam coming to consoles. Gabe Newell responded in a bit awkward way, saying that we should wait until the end of the year before finding out what's going on. And he said specifically that the truth would be different from what we could expect. So, according to several rumors that are now backed up by Ars Technica, Valve is currently working on a machine, a sort of console platform, based on Linux, an AMD CPU and an AMD GPU. And apparently it's not very different from what Nintendo Switch already is. So basically Ars Technica said that this machine could integrate a touch screen, which is supposed to be bigger than the one on the Nintendo Switch. And it is also possible to connect this machine to a gaming monitor via a USB Type-C port. So Ars Technica is a pretty reliable source. We're not talking about some random guy coming on 4chan and just looking for some fame, like 5 minutes of fame. So these rumors must have some kind of truth behind. I'm not saying they have to be true, I'm not saying Valve is actually releasing this machine, but if Ars Technica sources actually backed up these rumors, something is most likely going on. This machine is supposed to be released on the market by the end of 2021. Which sounds kind of weird, because what we're facing right now is unprecedented. It never happened before. We know that we have a lot of production issues with the market of the semiconductors, which is causing a huge shortage of graphic cards all over the world and chipsets in general. So the idea of making a console right now or a machine right now and having to deal with this kind of shortages all around the world seems quite weird in my opinion, but still, we already know that Nintendo is most likely working on a revision of their Nintendo Switch, so obviously the market cannot be stopped, it just can be slowed down like it's going on. What we know for sure is that Valve definitely has the money to make hardware, some kind of hardware. It has a very strong platform like Steam, and it has an infrastructure that is way better than what Nintendo, Microsoft or Sony are offering right now. So the ground is there and Valve can definitely make something if they want to. Also, we should not forget that Valve is a game developer actually, and is strong of a few IPs that are still among the best in the video game industry. If we think about Half-Life, if we think about Portal, DOTA, Counter-Strike, Valve can still gather the attention of millions of gamers all over the world. In my personal opinion though, the problem is history. Valve has definitely produced some very good hardware in the past, and I believe Valve Index, the virtual reality visor, is among one of the best things they have produced so far. Valve Index is a premium device, it's a very good device, it's definitely one of the best VR visors out there, but even though it sold pretty well, its actual success was hindered severely by production issues that they have been facing ever since the thing started selling. I live in Italy and I know that actually not many people manage to put their hands on a Valve Index, and I know for a fact that not many people in Europe actually manage to buy a Valve Index, not just because it's a very expensive piece of hardware, but because it was pretty much impossible to actually buy one. And it's not very clear right now if it was Valve underestimating the success of the peripheral, or if it was just a matter of attitude from Valve. Attitude because Valve has always been pretty weird with their hardware if we think about it. Valve has never pushed their hardware the right way. If we think about, for example, the Steam controller, which was a good device, a good controller, few people actually found a reason to prefer it to the more common Xbox 360 controller. It was a lack of communication, it was definitely a lack of marketing, and maybe it could also be a lack of quality, definitely, but quality itself, quality alone, is not enough to sell. Then we have another example with the Steam machines that I don't know very much about the situation in the US, but I can tell you that here in Europe we have never seen those. No store has ever shown a Steam machine ever, and I'm not just talking about physical stores but also digital stores. I've personally never seen a Steam machine for sale. We knew they existed, we know that some manufacturers were actually making them, but we have absolutely no idea where they went and how to buy one of those. Also, again, it was a lack of communication by Valve. Why would I buy a Steam machine? What is a Steam machine doing that my gaming PC cannot do? Why would I prefer to buy a Steam machine instead of the usual gaming PC? Valve was not able to communicate, to explain better to the potential customers the value within the Steam machines. And this is a problem that Valve has always had. The point now is that a portable game device, just like the Switch, able to play the Steam library, might be a good idea, might be interesting, but it's definitely not going to sell alone if Valve doesn't push it well enough. The problem with Valve is that they are not really that different from Google, probably, with their attitude towards Stadia. Stadia was definitely good on paper, it was a good idea. The problem is that if you are unable to push it in the market with a good subscription service, good exclusives, and a continuous support, you cannot expect people to just jump on your new platform and leave the previous ones. This kind of attitude is just waiting for your product to die. They need to figure things out before the launch. It's pretty clear to me that this idea might work because it's slightly different than what the other competitors are currently doing, but it's also clear that it cannot work just alone on its own. It will easily fail if the company keeps acting the way they did with their previous hardware. I can tell you for sure that I would definitely pay something like 500 euros to get my hand on one of these devices. But I am an hardcore player who loves to play on PC and who also loves to play while maybe laying down in bed. So the idea of playing my Steam library on a mobile device is quite appealing, but Valve has to take into account Nvidia GeForce Now. It has to take into account Stadia. It has to take into account now even Xbox Game Pass. The point is that right now gamers have several options, and each one of them is slightly different from the other. This usually means that the king will be value and marketing, whoever will be able to put them together and offer the best product. And whether or not Valve will be able to launch this device by the end of the year still has to be seen. Anyways, let me know what you think about it. How much would you pay for a portable device that allows you to play to your Steam library? Hit the comments down below, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed our content, and peace till the next one.